So that's it sticking through. Stick our rubber up on it like that, and I'll give this a little twist. Now I'd be happy with that now, holding my bonnet down nice and... There we go. So, one for each side. So I'm more than happy with that. And the beauty is, when you loosen it off a bit, you should just be able to pull that down. And eventually you just keep your rubber pulled down enough that it'll slide down. It'll slide in behind it. Now these rubbers kind of do bend inwards a bit, so like that, and just give it a tighten in. But I think that's a nice little addition to any tractor, to be honest with you. More than happy with that. And they just hang there when the bonnet's lifted up, then you know. Of course you need two hands. I'm holding the camera with one. So something like that. So yeah, I'd be happy with that. So just another little tidy upper. So the next job is I want to take off this because I want to paint it. I'm not going to paint this because it's too awkward in there, and you end up getting all the threads caked in paint. So I'm just going to paint the housing of the air filter, because that should be grey, and I have it, as I said, I have a nice decal for there as I would have had in the factory. So we can get on with that, and I can also get on with cleaning up them nuts for around the PTO selector there as well. And here's the other side, and that should just line up into that slot there. I'll give it a little twist. Now I will admit, now that I have both of them fitted, it's a little bit awkward when you're dropping the bonnet, because you have to try and keep this one pushed out of the way of the battery, you have to keep the other one pushed out of the way of the air filter. But this is going to be a very reliable tractor because the engine is completely done, top to bottom, inside out, upside down, and I'm feeling the owner won't have to go doing a whole lot of lifting bonnets as long as the battery is kept fairly charged. And these are very easy started. This one is a beautiful little runner now, and it sounds super powerful, like it sounds like exactly how it should be. So what I'll show here is, it's a little bit awkward, so I'll just set it up on the tripod, maybe I'll get a better look. What you have to do is, both sides, is you have to start getting them, as you're dropping the bonnet, you have to start getting them lining up to where you want the bonnet to go. Sorry, where you want them to go. As simple as that. So it's just going to be one of them things that you'll forget about the first few times you do it. You get the hang of it then, and it'll close down straight away then, and you'll be able to get it sorted then. And then it's just a matter of lining up again one-handed. These rubbers like to curl in on themselves, but they will do what we want them to do. In other words, they'll stop the metal and metal. There we go. And the other side here. So that's hanging down there, ready to line up with our little slot. In she goes, giving a few spins, and it'd be great comfort going down the road, and you're going over a bumpy road. There won't be rattles in anything. So now that I have that rubber mounted as well, the rattle's gone out of it, we'll get that one done the same, and we should have a nice quiet bonnet, and it'll keep everything in place, all the rubbers and the trims and everything. So yeah, so I'm happy with that. Nice and solid, nice and quiet. You'll be able to hear the nice engine rather than any rattles. So yeah, that's just another thing. It would have been there from factory. I see very few of them fitted. but they're available, they're very cheap, and they're a finishing, what I would call a kind of a finishing touch. So I have jumped ahead of myself, but I am waiting on another consignment of parts to come in, so I am just trying to keep motoring rather than simply waiting for parts. So, but yeah, nice touch. I never actually realised they actually had these ever, to be honest with you, until I seen them available. And I started looking then where they actually were fitted, and I seen them 2 slots. I seen that slot there on each side and I said, just that must be where they're fitted. So we'll leave him hanging down there out of the way. And yes, I'm impressed with that. That's a nice little addition. There's also a leak on the oil pressure gauge. I noticed from underneath. So I'm going to lift it here. I have all the fittings removed. Lift it up out of the dash, and we'll be able to get a look at it. So I'll put down a rag first, so that we're not scratching the dash. Just lift it out a little bit so we can see what's going on. So I need probably 13.5 inch, I would say. Lovely. And then the one below it, pull it out and leave it sit on the rag, and I'll get a torch and show you what's going on here. So you've got a fitting in behind there, you've got a big fitting, adapter fitting, and then the one below then was leaking. So I'll be able to hold the top one with the spanner and give the bottom one a nip. So that is the plan, because we don't want oil dripping down under the dash. Happened on my own one before. So we hold one with this. It's a little bit awkward. Hold one and twist the other against it. Now we're tight. So now we should be ready to let that back in. Oh, I twisted it loose again. Okay. So we'll give it another little tighten up. Now, without overdoing it. And I'll keep an eye on it. If it does it again, I'll take it all apart and have a look. And see what's going on. So anyway, that's just another little issue that's hopefully sorted now. I'm just going to quickly make a gasket for the back of this PTO selector lever plate. I'd sooner do it now than do it when it's all painted. So I made one of these before for the gold belly, so this is what I cut out. So I should be able to mark that with a pen in here, and roughly anyway, it's not, you don't have to be too fussy for the inside. I'm going to cut that out now, and it should be it'll fit in underneath there. So a bit of guesswork with this anyway, just to get the inside line right, but it doesn't matter anyway, to be honest, as long as you leave plenty of sealing, plenty of thickness there to seal. So just cut it there, stick on the waist side of the line anyway as best we can. I'll come back when that cut out and we'll try it for a fit. They're a little bit thick here and there, but that'll work perfectly anyway, and that'll keep the oil inside. Might just trim it off there just a little bit around here, but we can always put whatever ends a little bit sticky outy down the bottom. It's all only going to help seal anyway. Yeah, something like that, a bit better. But, so I can now get my scrapers and start, I have some scrapers here. These lads start scraping the gearbox, the rear. I can start giving that a bit of a, I might have a look about taking out that stud that's sticking out there. I've never seen when I'm in this before, maybe during all the 35s, I'm not sure, but I'm going to try and take it out and replace it with a bolt, so it'll make it way easier to clean rather than hitting off a stud. So I'll just have a look and see. I'll get two nuts and try and remove it. Let's take out this cutout switch to work on the oil pressure gauge. So I'm just going to fit a washer on there so that it's not, people aren't scratching the paintwork with spanners and all of that, and whatever you use to take off the adjustable spanners. So at least that'll just stop people from hitting the bodywork. No, I can get my adjustable now and give that a bit of a nip up. So yeah, I just fitted that on there because it'll just save your bodywork. And it'll just mean when you put on your adjustable spanner, now I was putting some masking tape around it there so it wasn't hitting. So that's just a small little thing there, small detail, it'll just help. So yeah, next job will be to get nuts onto that stud and see if I can get it out. To get the nice little clean down there, scraped, and I give it a wipe then with a bit of a clean up then with sandpaper. I shoved the rag in there to the back end, so in case there was anything falling in there, so it will stop it. So it's just now a matter of, I couldn't get the stud out, so it's no harm. I'm going to fit the gasket to this and have it setting, because that way the stud will hold it in place. So I'm just putting a bit of Indian head on. That's stuff that I use, I've mentioned it a few times already. It's great stuff, it's not silicone based. You don't have to be fussy with this, it kind of spreads out a bit itself when you tighten on the plate. And you can wipe it away then. If there's a bit squeezed out around it, doesn't matter, you can wipe it away. Yeah, so that's looking good. I'll fit the back gasket now and we'll see how it lines up. So I'm just making sure that it's all looking good. Slight little bit thicker there, so I left that down the bottom. These are a little different than the Ferguson 20 because they have this bit of a cast in there. I didn't see that until it was too late. But it won't make a difference. This will seal perfect anyway. I'm just reaching in past the tripod here, so the camera is probably going to be rocking a bit. Yeah, just trying to get a feel for this to see how are we doing on bolt holes lining up. And the last one, this is the second last one, that's a long one, that's for the footboard. And then there. Yeah, so that's it. We'll leave that sit there and it'll go off. It doesn't really go off fully, but it does kind of set a bit. So, and then we can put a bit more on this side when it comes to fitting the plate. So that's grand. And I suppose for keeping the stud there, this was missing a spring washer, but I'll pick out one for it. So that's another little job done.